Per the State of California Executive Order N2920, this meeting is being held telephonically. All public comments were received either by email or via voicemail as noted within the agenda. Council, please mute your microphones until called upon for comment or vote. Mayor, I'm now passing the mic over to you.
Thank you, Ashley. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Smith?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Present.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Here.
Councilmember Pogencord?
Here.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Here.
City Treasurer Curry?
Here.
City Clerk Marsh?
Here.
All elected officials are present telephonically.
Thank you. Our invocation is this evening by Pastor Mark Bixler of Tehachapi Church of Christ. Is Pastor Bixler here this evening?
Yes. I'm here.
If you would, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Pastor.
Our Father, we're thankful that we can be together even if we are physically separated. We thank you for the many blessings that we've had in the past week and even in the past difficult year, and we're thankful for a new year. We're thankful for the things that we can do for our community. We're thankful for the vaccine that has finally arrived, and we're thankful that you have spared us of huge numbers of deaths in our community. But Father, we do pray that you will help our nation to not only heal physically, but to heal from the divisiveness that has been so evident. And we trust that everything is really in your hands, but help us to do what we can on our end. We pray these things in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll have the pledge to the flag. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll go on to the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member from the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item be removed from consent agenda and will be considered in listed sequence, and have an opportunity for any member of the public to address City Council concerning the item before action is taken. Were there any public comments regarding consent items, agenda items that should be removed?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Thank you. Are there any consent agenda items the council would like to have removed by roll call? Ashley?
Councilmember Pogencord?
Whoop, none, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
No.
Councilmember Wiggins?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
No.
Mayor Smith?
No, thank you. So I'll now take a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So move.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Wiggins and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Davies. Our clerk will now take a roll call vote.
Councilmember Pogencord?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes, thank you.
It was a 5-0 vote for approval of the consent agenda.
All right, thank you. Audience oral and written communications per State of California Executive Order N 2920. Do we have any public comments?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Okay, thank you. Item number 2, presentation of certificate of recognition to past Mayor Susan Wiggins. Just have to say, we are very fortunate to have had Susan serve this term at the time that she came on board after Ed's passing, and it's not an easy job, as she could attest. She's always been so professional. She's always had the city in her heart, and we just so appreciate the job that she has done for our community. Congratulations on a job well done, Susan.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure and an honor to serve as mayor of this fine city.
And you were given the presentation sometime today in
Yes.
in physical
Yes, I
form.
was.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And I think that people can view that, or have you receiving that online somewhere.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan, so much. All right, then. Item number 6, the taxi cab application. Our administrative manager, Ashley Whitmore, will now give the report. Ashley?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and council members. Before you, we have a taxi cab application submitted by Shahzad Alit, owner of Star Taxi. He submitted a completed taxi application on January 6th, 2021. The application can be found within your agenda. So this item is not to actually approve the application, but per our municipal code, you are required to set a hearing so we can look at the application and approve it at a later date. So we're asking that you direct staff to notify the applicant by mail of the hearing date and post the notice in 2 locations, City Hall display window and the Tehachapi News, for a City Council meeting to be held on February 16th, 2021, or a time thereafter.
Okay.
If you have any questions.
Were there any public comments on this?
There were 0 by email and 0 received by voicemail.
Council comments by roll call. Ashley?
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes. And I have a question. How often do they have to renew their licensing?
So annually, so things like a taxi cab will require a police permit. So annually, they have to do fingerprinting. That's for the owner and any other drivers. And annually, we also require business licenses. So that will come out mid-year. So July 1st of every year, all businesses, including taxi cabs, need to get a new business license.
And then how many taxi cabs do we have, different entities? I know we have one that's been around for quite some time, but how many?
That is the only one right now with a business license. At one point in time, we had 2, but we are down to 1.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. Councilmember Scrivener?
No.
Councilmember Wiggins?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes, I understand when I was reading his application, he's from Cal City, so he's going to run this business from Cal City. Will he have any buildings in Tehachapi or any taxi cab stationed in Tehachapi? Is there he's going to run it all from Cal City?
You know, I'm not positive about that right now. The physical address is just the California City address, so they are not applying for a business license for a brick and mortar shop or place here in Tehachapi. So it looks like it will all be run out of Cal City. That will be something we will make sure and have the applicant address at the next upcoming meeting.
Okay, that's one of my big concerns is, it's going to take, 50 minutes just if he's in Cal City to get to Tehachapi before you even, start your ride if you're going to go somewhere. That's one of my concerns I have.
A lot of these taxi cab services will often, especially being up here, do it kind of by appointment also.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all I had.
And Mayor Smith?
No, I didn't have any questions this evening. So I'll now take a motion to direct staff to set a public hearing date of February 16th or soon thereafter to consider the taxi cab application submitted by Star Taxi. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion by,
Roll call.
okay, I have a motion by, go ahead.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes?
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
It was a 5-0 vote to direct staff to set a public hearing date of February 16th, 2021, or soon thereafter to consider the taxi cab application submitted by Star Taxi.
Okay, thank you. Item number 8, disbursements, bills, and for RSI Petroleum.
Mayor Smith, I'm sorry. I need to recuse myself because I'm an employee of RSI Petroleum.
All right. Councilmember Davies has recused himself. Were there any comments from the public on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
All right. Our clerk will now ask the council by roll call vote for any comments.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
None at this point, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
None for me.
Councilmember Wiggins?
None?
Mayor Smith?
No comments. I'll now take a motion to approve the disbursements and bills for RSI Petroleum.
So move.
I so move. Pogencourt.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes?
Mayor Smith?
Yes. Thank you.
It was a 4-0 vote for approval of the disbursements and bills for RSI Petroleum with a recusal from Councilmember Davies.
All right. We'll wait for Councilmember Davies to get back online.
I'm here.
All right. Thank you. Item number 10, update to the current multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. Our assistant to the city manager, Corey Costello, will now give the report. Corey?
Thank you, Mayor Smith and council members. Good evening. Over the past 18 months, Kern County, along with participating jurisdictions, developed an update to the 2014 Kern Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. This reduces losses resulting from natural disasters. All participating jurisdictions, the Hazard Mitigation Planning Committee, and the public have been offered the opportunity to review this hazard mitigation plan. The governing bodies of all participating jurisdictions are now being asked to adopt this new Kern Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan as the official mitigation plan. The City of Tehachapi participated in this effort and has updated our hazard mitigation plan as well. We're familiar with the, emergency operations centers and things like that. Those kind of are the reaction to an emergency. The hazard mitigation plan helps us on the front end potentially mitigate the impact of natural disasters. The plan development, it's the use of sustained long-term actions to reduce the loss of life, personal injury, and property damage that can result from a disaster. The plan also provides a formal explanation of prevalent natural hazards within the county and how hazards may affect communities differently. The mitigation strategy presented in the plan responds to the known vulnerabilities within each community and provides prescriptions or actions to achieve the greatest reduction of natural hazard risk. The purpose of having this plan, as I previously mentioned, it provides the counties and participating jurisdictions continued access to grant funding from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA. This to conduct hazard mitigation activities, and to also provide resources for residents wishing to conduct hazard mitigation efforts by identifying areas of extreme risk and providing financial and technical mitigation resources based on current gaps. The plan was developed by the Hazard Mitigation Planning Committee made up of participants from all participating jurisdictions and advising on mitigation action priorities both for the county as a whole and each jurisdiction individually, with expertise from the consultants on the project, dynamic planning, and science. For the city of Tehachapi specifically, this plan's been set up in 2 volumes to separate jurisdiction-specific elements in the city, specifically as part of Volume 1, also known as the Umbrella Plan. This includes all federally required elements of a hazard mitigation plan that apply to the entire planning area. In this case, it would be the County of Kern. This includes a description of planning process, public involvement strategy, goals and objectives, countywide hazard risk assessments. The Volume 1 Umbrella Plan and standalone annex for all 11 jurisdictions were submitted to Cal OES and FEMA for review in this Wave 1 of submissions. The public also reviewed this document in August and September, and all public comments have been addressed. The jurisdiction for the annex of the city of Tehachapi is attached to this report. Due to file size, the entire Volume 1 Umbrella Plan is available via link if the public wants to check that out. It's a pretty substantial document covering the entire county of Kern and then specifically to the city of Tehachapi. The good news is on December 11th, FEMA determined that Volume 1, the Umbrella Plan, and the Wave 1 standalone annexes for the 11 jurisdictions, including the city of Tehachapi, are approvable pending adoption. And basically, FEMA said there's no further additional edits or changes needed to our plans. The Tehachapi City Council is now being asked to adopt via resolution the Volume 1 Umbrella Plan and its respective standalone hazard mitigation plan and submit the adoption resolution through the consultant to FEMA. FEMA will then grant final approval of Volume 1 Umbrella Plan and all the Wave 1 standalone annexes in which the city of Tehachapi is involved after they receive the adoption resolutions. The current and approved hazard mitigation plan is a prerequisite for jurisdictions wishing to pursue funding under FEMA's Hazard Mitigation Assistance Program. It's got to be updated every 5 years to remain in compliance. So specifically in the projects and mitigation measures for the city, as I mentioned, we work with the County of Kern, who hired a consultant to update the 2014 plan. We removed projects that were no longer relevant to the city of Tehachapi or had been successfully mitigated. Examples of those can be found on page 1-3 of the attached City of Tehachapi Annex. They include stormwater projects, also emergency power backups to assist with water and wastewater critical operations. As you recall, we received a grant for some of those late last year. So additional projects were replaced on the list by completion of this risk matrix. That's on page 1-8. It shows the potential impact, severity, and likelihood of different natural disaster types in the city of Tehachapi. And with that matrix, the prioritization of mitigation efforts was established. So the new list of projects can be found on pages 1-31 through 1-33. And at the top of the list for mitigation measures is the city's ongoing effort to mitigate the impacts of drought. This is a priority for not only the state of California, but the city. It's also exacerbated by the adjudication present in our water basin, which limits pumping allocation. So as a result, a variety of projects were either renewed or, in the case of our groundwater sustainability project, added to this list to qualify for mitigation funding from the federal government. Obviously, earthquake impact and extreme weather mitigation projects also made the list. Several of those were focused on public outreach and information campaigns, a lot of which we're doing now in terms of emergency preparedness and that sort of thing, and others have tangible and fiscal requirements. So the fiscal impact of this, the good news was the Hazard Mitigation Plan update was funded through a FEMA grant awarded to the County of Kern Office of Emergency Services. The City of Tehachapi is a member of Kern OES and is a benefactor of this grant. The only cost of the City of Tehachapi was staff time dedicated to the update process. And as I mentioned before, funding for projects on this list, if awarded, could be significant. So it's our recommendation tonight that the Council adopt a resolution to formally accept Volume 1 Umbrella Plan and the City of Tehachapi Jurisdiction Annex as part of the Kern Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan and authorize staff to submit the resolution through Dynamic Planning and Science to FEMA. Special thanks as well, Wendy Benson, the Administrative Coordinator for the Kern County Department of Emergency Services. This has been an 18-month project for her, and with COVID-19 and all the other disasters, along with Georgiana Armstrong, the Director of the Department of Emergency Services with the County of Kern, those two, with all the other challenges going on, were dedicated to pushing this through. And then the folks at Dynamic Planning, the consultant that worked with specifically with the City of Tehachapi on this, sort of a long process because of all the extenuating factors, but important to get this done, and we're happy that they're for their assistance in this matter. So if and I will take any questions at this time.
Were there any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
All right, would you poll the council for comments, please?
Councilmember Pogencourt,
None right now, thank you. It's a lot to take in all at one time. Thanks.
Councilmember Scrivener,
None for me.
Councilmember Wiggins,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies,
None for me tonight.
Mayor Smith,
Just thank you to Corey and all those who worked so hard on this with the county. It's very, very important that we have a plan in place before anything happens that we can refer to immediately and get funding from FEMA when we need it. So with that, I'll now, where will the link be on from our website if someone wants to view the plan?
Yeah, we can. It's currently available now on the agenda page. The entire Tehachapi annex is available. Once it's formally adopted by FEMA, obviously once the council adopts it and FEMA then accepts it and approves it, we'll post the final document on our website, and we'll have it in an emergency preparedness section. But we need to get this is currently a draft format, so to speak, until FEMA blesses it with final approval.
All right, thank you. Okay, I'll now take a motion to adopt the resolution adopting the updated multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan and repealing resolution numbers 0406 and 1614. Do I have a motion?
Mayor Smith, I'll make that motion that we adopt the resolution adopting the updated multi-jurisdiction hazard mitigation plan and repealing resolution numbers 4-06, 18-14.
I second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Pogencourt,
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener,
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies,
Yes.
Mayor Smith.
Yes, thank you.
It was a 5-0 vote to adopt a resolution adopting the updated multi-jurisdiction hazard mitigation plan and repealing resolution number 04-06 and 16-14.
Thank you. Item number 12, Enhanced Pedestrian Crossing Project, Rebid Award. Our Development Director, Services Director, Jay Slosher, will now give the report. Jay?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. The first item I have for you tonight is the Enhanced Pedestrian Crossings Project Rebid Award. Hopefully you guys will remember from a couple of months ago that we unfortunately had to cancel all the bids received with the initial bidding effort associated with this project due to some bid irregularities. Following that meeting and decision from the council, we rebid the project successfully this time. I'd like to report. As a quick reminder, there are a couple of photos of the areas affected by this project included in your packet. It's just 2 enhanced pedestrian crossings, one located at the intersection of Mill and Valley and the other located in front of Tompkins Elementary, crossing Curry Street. And by enhanced, the principal components of this project are some concrete ramps and crosswalks, as well as some flashing pedestrian beacons that are activated, by push button when somebody wishes to cross the road. That's the gist of the project. We received a grant from the Highway Safety Improvement Program, Cycle 9, HSIP, to construct these crossings. And like I said, we had to cancel the first bid from October and rebid the project. And so on November 11th, we did advertise for that rebid. We opened those bids on December 21st of last year. The results are contained in the staff report. We thankfully received 2 bids, and we reviewed both of those bids and determined that the bid from R.C. Becker & Son is both responsive and responsible. So we did, however, have yet another bid snafu, although minor this time. We did receive a bid after the deadline that we did not open and return to the applicant via FedEx, and that's the way we handle those when somebody fails to deliver their bids in a timely manner. It does not affect the remainder of the proceedings. So the fiscal impact from the project is that we have grant funded this project with no match requirement. We have $184,800 programmed in the HSIP program for construction phase, and we believe that is sufficient funding to cover both construction and the construction administration expenses. And as such, I recommend that the council award the base bid and bid alternate of the Enhanced Pedestrian Crossings Project Rebid to R.C. Becker & Son Incorporated in the amount of $155,702.41, and authorize the city manager to approve any necessary change orders out to a maximum of 10% of the original contract, or $15,570. That concludes my report, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Were there any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
All right, thank you. Our clerk will now take comments from the council via roll call.
Councilmember Pogencord? Councilmember Pogencord, you may be on mute.
I unmuted myself. Here we go. No, I don't have any at this point. How often, I guess I do have a question. How often do these have to be redone? You know, because I know the one at Tompkins, I know that I'm very familiar with that one, and Mill Street not so much, but I use the Tompkins one myself, you know, when I get my grandkids, and I just wonder how often these have to be redone. Anybody have any knowledge about that?
Yes, Councilmember Pogencord, I can answer that question. The lifespan of this project is somewhere between 20 and 30 years is the useful life. In this case, we're not, in case there's any confusion, we're not rebuilding the crossing in front of Tompkins. We're enhancing it with further safety measures. And right now there is no crossing at Mill Street and Valley Boulevard, and so we're adding a crossing in a place where none exists. The only ongoing maintenance that is expected to have to be done every few years is any striping that's put on the road in association with this project has to be refreshed every couple of years, depending upon how the snow takes its toll. So this year probably not at all, right? Since we don't have any snow. But I hope that
hopefully
answers
we'll get them. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Councilmember Scrivener?
No.
Councilmember Wiggins?
None, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yeah, I just have one concern. I just want to make sure that when this all goes in, that we need to put some extra signage up. Just people are just not paying attention. I know the flashing yellow light. I think we need to advertise this, and when it goes into play, I just hate to see somebody just hit the button and think they're free and clear to walk across, because people are just, nobody's ever stopped there as long as I've been here for 40 years. I think we just got to make sure that we maybe put some additional signage up for a little bit, just to get everybody used to it. But I think we need it there. I know my grandchildren will use it because that's right there in their neighborhood. So, but I just want to make sure that everybody has to wait to see everybody stops. I think that's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, Councilmember Davies, just to expound on it, the crossing at Mill and Valley has advanced signs that are also lit and will light and flash prior to vehicles. So we considered that issue and added some additional signs in that location since there's no impetus to stop otherwise. And I do also agree with your recommendation that we'll put up some message board signs right before we go active with it and leave them up for a couple of weeks to kind of get regular commuters through there used to seeing the new facility. And then at Tompkins, we spoke to the school district, and they agreed not to remove the crossing guard from that crossing because we were a little concerned that by providing these facilities, they may stop putting a crossing guard up there, which may not be an improvement. And they agreed that they would continue to utilize that crossing guard. So I think in both respects, we're going to get an improvement to safety.
Thank you, Jay.
Mayor Smith, any comments?
Is there any instructions for the pedestrian that says a caution to them before they, like Michael Davies said, you don't want to assume they're going to stop just because you press the button. Is there a warning verbiage at all?
Yes, I believe there is. There's a pedestrian push button that, they physically have to press to activate the signage. So I do believe there is a sign there at that pedestrian level informing them to look both ways before entering the street. So, we do see those behaviors, unfortunately, where folks will just act like, a yellow vest suddenly makes them immune to getting hit by a car. So we are trying to make an improvement in that area, and we think that this overall will enhance that area for pedestrians. So
I do too. And any crosswalk, it could be a false sense of security for whoever uses it. So you have to use common sense like you would in New York City or anywhere else. All right. Well, thank you. I'll now take a motion to award the base bid and the bid alternative of the Enhanced Pedestrian Crossings Project to R.C. Becker and Son Incorporated, amount of $155,702.41, $155,702.41, and authorize the city manager to approve any necessary change orders up to a maximum of 10% of the original contract or $15,570. Do you have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Mayor Smith.
And I'll second it. I will, Councilmember Davies.
Roll call vote. Thank you.
Councilmember Pogencourt? Councilmember Pogencourt? You may be on mute, Councilmember Pogencourt. All right, we'll check back with her. Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes, we could try back with Councilmember Pogencourt, and if she comes back, if she's lost her connection, then we could get her vote after the words, if that's all right with everyone.
I got it back. Yay. I don't know how I did it, but I got it back. Yes.
Thank you. It was a 5-0 vote. Oh, that's all right. It was a 5-0 vote to award the base bid and bid alternative of the Enhanced Pedestrian Crossings Project to R.C. Becker and Son, Inc. in the amount of $155,702.41, and authorize the city manager to approve any necessary change orders up to a maximum of 10% of the original contract, or $15,570.
Thank you very much, all. Item number 13, Tehachapi Zoning Code, Sign Code Update. Our Development Services Director, Jay Schlosser, will now give the report. Jay?
Thank you, Mayor, council members. The second item I have for you tonight, as you stated, Mayor, is the sign code update to our Tehachapi zoning code. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail now about what's driving this, but briefly, back in 2015, there was a significant Supreme Court case, United States Supreme Court case, named Reed versus the town of Gilbert, and it was a case relating to a lawsuit between a developer and the town of Gilbert, Arizona, regarding their sign code. And it resulted in a pretty meaningful case from the Supreme Court stating that any sign codes that regulate signs on the basis of their content is a violation of the First Amendment. This isn't always the most intuitive issue. I actually have spoken to a number of colleagues and tried to get my head wrapped around these issues, but there are some components of our sign code that are content-based. The best example I have, for instance, is that we regulate temporary real estate signs. And that seems like a pretty logical thing for us to be able to regulate, but technically that's us regulating based on what's on the sign, i.e. real estate signs. And so we have to adjust our codes, and we budgeted for that this year knowing that this was coming up, and we've been here in the planning department paying attention to the national planning industry and how they're shifting to address these required changes, and I think it's time for us to move forward with that. So we approached Least Wise Consulting, who prepared the original sign code back in 2013 and 2014 to give us a scope of work for the planning effort. And so the scope of work proposes to update the sign code to what's called content neutral, which would make it compliant with the United States Supreme Court. We propose to produce an updated code for consideration first by the Tehachapi Planning Commission and then by the Council for adoption as an ordinance. So we will ultimately be bringing the updated codes back to you and asking for your approval. The fiscal impact is that we estimate the expense to be $26,241. That price includes a 10% contingency, and again, this was a budgeted expense in our department. And so our recommendation is that you approve the agreement between the City of Tehachapi and Lisa Wise Consulting Incorporated for the 2021 sign code amendment. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Jay. Were there any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
All right. Would you poll the council for comments, please?
Councilmember Pogencourt?
I have none, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
None.
Councilmember Wiggins?
None?
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
None.
Mayor Smith?
None. I'll now take a motion to approve the agreement between the City of Tehachapi and Lisa Wise Consulting Incorporated for the 2021 sign code amendments and authorize the mayor to sign, subject to city attorney and city manager approval. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Second? Do I have a second? Sorry.
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes?
Mayor Pro Tem Davies? Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
It was a 5-0 vote to approve the agreement between the City of Tehachapi and Lisa Wise Consulting for the 2021 sign code amendments and authorize the mayor to sign, subject to city attorney and city manager approval.
Thank you. Item number 14, alley repaving reimbursement agreement for track 6360 Mill Street Cottages. Jay?
Very good. Thank you, Mayor. The last item for presentation tonight is the track 6360 Mill Street Cottages alley repaving reimbursement agreement. I'll make this as brief as I can. Track 6360 is a small pocket neighborhood of 11 homes located in Tehachapi's downtown, in the east side of Mill Street between D and E Street. The neighborhood was first envisioned by local architect Alex Cottages and approved for development in the early 2000s. Unfortunately, due to the downturn in 2007, only 3 of the 11 homes were constructed. The project was kind of in limbo for all the years in between. About 2 years ago, it was purchased by a gentleman by the name of Damian McLaughlin of D&M Auto Sales out of Santa Ana, California, and he and his contractors have begun construction on 6 of the remaining 8 lots, with 3 of the 8 lots under construction on D Street, nearing completion. We've been working with Mr. McLaughlin to complete the conditions of approval original to the project, of which one of them is to repave the alleyway adjacent to the development. And the development stretches about 300 feet of the total block length of about 420 feet. And so Mr. McLaughlin and his corporation are responsible for repaving 300 feet of a 420-foot alleyway. So city staff recognized an opportunity for us to potentially get the entire alleyway repaved, and Mr. McLaughlin is not responsible for that remaining 120 feet. But we reached out to him to see if he would be willing to pave the entire alleyway on a reimbursement basis with the City of Tehachapi, and he was willing to do so. And so there are some advantages to both of us in that case, and so we do recommend that we have the whole alleyway repaved. And at present, the expected expense for reimbursement is $21,486. And again, we propose to reimburse the project developer in accordance with the agreement that's attached to the staff report after the work is complete. This was not a budgeted expense, but I got together with Public Works Director Don Marsh, and he has identified sufficient budget within the Public Works budget to fund this additional work. And so my recommendation tonight is that you approve the reimbursement agreement between the City of Tehachapi and D&M Auto Sales Incorporated for the reimbursement of expenses associated with the repaving of the alleyway adjacent to Tract 6360. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Were there any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Please poll the council for comments.
Councilmember Pogencord?
Yes, it's just great to see that block being developed, and it looks so much better than it has in probably 30 or 40 years. So I'm really delighted that they are willing to pave that alley and fix those homes up. They're looking really good.
Councilmember Scrivener?
No.
Councilmember Wiggins?
No, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
No, ma'am.
Mayor Smith?
Just a comment to go on top of what Councilmember Pogencourt said. It's just really a nice enhancement to that area. As a little history, there was a gentleman that had that property for years and years, hidden behind the trees and everything was numerous vehicles and even a train car that was pulled out of there for, I think it was an old coach that was refurbished by somebody that purchased it. But there was a massive, massive undertaking to get all the items off that property to have it cleared. There was even, I think, an underground concrete bunker. But to see it go from that to what it is now, it's certainly a great addition to our community. So, and we're lucky that the developer is, thank you for asking them to do that. You hate to have 3/4 of an alley that looks great and then the rest of it that's falling apart. So they're putting up over $70,000, $80,000 on their part of it, and then we're going to do the rest. So great project. I'll now take a motion to approve the reimbursement agreement between the City of Tehachapi and D&M Auto Sales Incorporated and authorize the mayor to sign. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion,
moved.
Mayor Smith.
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Pogencord?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
It is a 5-0 vote to approve the reimbursement agreement between the City of Tehachapi and D&M Auto Sales, Inc., and authorize the mayor to sign.
Thank you. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor Smith. Just a statement, actually. It's a larger agenda than we've seen recently, and I want to thank council, staff, and the public. As you can tell, the City of Tehachapi's business is still moving forward, and I'm very proud of our public-private partnerships and how we're working collaboratively together in a positive way, and people still believe in Tehachapi. So very proud of that, and I want to thank the staff here at the City of Tehachapi and every department and the citizens of this great city for all the support that we continue to receive. We're doing good things here at the city, all of us together. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Council member reports. Council member Pogencourt.
None except for that development by the church on D and Mill is just looking really well, and it looks great compared to when Mr. Green was in that section that you were talking about. And also, power outages are a big issue still, and our wind today is, we haven't seen anything like that in a long time, and I've forgotten how windy it can get here, so hopefully everybody batten down the hatches.
Thank you. Councilmember Scrivener, anything?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Wiggins?
No, nothing. Thank you.
And Mayor Pro Tem Davies, anything tonight?
No, sir, I do not. Thank you.
And I don't have anything either. So without objection, we are now adjourned. Good night, everyone.